Good evening, everyone. It is 5 o'clock, and at this time I'll call the pre-council meeting of the Perry City Council for Tuesday, May the 5th, 2026 to order. We do have a quorum this evening. Item 3 on our agenda are citizens with input. Are there any citizens here this evening that would like to address mayor and council at this time? Thank you. Item 4, items for review and discussion. Item 4A is the discussion of the May 5th, 2026 council meeting agenda. Council members, I'll call your attention to that agenda at this time. 1, 2, and 3 are standard items. Would someone like to do the invocation? Reverend King? Okay. And the pledge. Thank you. Item 4 will be citizens with input relative to this agenda, except public hearings where people will have the opportunity to speak at that time. Item 5 is recognitions and presentations. Item 5A is a proclamation commemorating the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and I will present that. Item 5B are officer recognitions. Chief Everidge?
Yes, sir. Tonight our officers nominate and select their Civilian of the Year, Recruit of the Year, which is an officer with less than 2 years, Investigator of the Year, Supervisor of the Year, and Officer of the Year. And as far as I know, they'll all be here tonight for us to present them a small plaque and recognize them publicly.
Super. We look forward to that. Item 6 is a public hearing, and the purpose of the public hearing is to provide any interested parties with an opportunity to express their views and concerns in accordance with OCGA section 36-66-4. So 6A will be a special exception request. It's SUSE 0026-2026. The applicant is Skylar Sanders, requesting a special exception to allow a short-term rental. The property is located at 207 Graylock Drive. Mrs. Wharton?
Thank you, Mayor. This afternoon we have a application for a special exception. This property wants to use a 3-bed, 2-bath house for a maximum of 8 occupants. The subject property has been inspected and meets all of our criteria for short-term rentals. Just as for reference, Graylock Drive is in Alpine Valley neighborhood, and to my knowledge, I don't think that we have any short-term rentals in that area at this time. So this application does meet all of the standards for short-term rental properties as outlined in our land management ordinance. All of the standards for special exceptions I'll go through in the meeting, but did want to share that the staff recommendation for this application was for approval, and the Planning Commission also recommends approval, and to my knowledge there was no opposition at the Planning Commission meeting.
Okay. Council members, questions? Thank you, Ms. Wharton. Item 6B is an annexation request. It's ANNX 0030-2026. The applicant is Matt Widener of Widener & Associates. Requests the annexation and rezoning of 19.7 acres of RAG County to R-TH Townhouse Residential. The property is located on Airport Road. Ms. Wharton?
Thank you, Mayor. This application is to annex those 19.7 acres on Airport Road extension, I believe, to the City of Perry zoning district of residential townhouse. So this is a repeat application from a similar one nearly a year ago that you've seen before. This will be developed into a townhouse subdivision if it's approved. The lot is proposed to be for townhouses, and then the applicant did submit a site plan that shows his development meeting all the standards of a townhouse development. but going through the standards for granting a zoning classification, properties around it to the north is undeveloped, but zone C2 in the city. To the south, zone RAG in the county. Both of those are undeveloped. To the east is zone GU, which is our Heritage Oaks Park. And to the west is the PUD, which is Houston Springs. So I'll go through each of these in the meeting tonight. With this, I will share that staff recommended approval of this application as it was submitted, and the Planning Commission also recommended approval. I believe the vote on that was 6-1 with one planning commissioner in opposition. There was a bit of interest in this at the Planning Commission meeting, as you can see in the Planning Commission meetings. So we do anticipate there may be some residents in the nearby area in attendance tonight for this. Do want to make sure council and everyone's aware this decision is only relative to the land use and the annexation of the property. Any future development plans will have to come to the Department of Community Development for review, and we'll address those at that time. But tonight is simply for the land use decision. Happy to take any questions on this one.
Questions, council members? Yes, Mrs. Faust.
Can you briefly explain the difference in this application? Because you said that there was a previous similar application a year ago, I believe. Do you happen to know, and I'm sorry, I know this is new.
That's okay.
But do you happen to know what has changed between those two applications, or is it the same application again, or what's the story on that?
It's my understanding the applications are similar. So in the last application round, the request was denied. And so following a period of time of 6 months, a new application can be filed on the same property. So it's my understanding this is a new application on the same property. The applicant should be in attendance tonight and can address any specific differences between the applications.
Other questions? Thank you, Ms. Wharton. Item 7 will be the review of the minutes from April the 20th, April 21st, the pre-council meeting, and April 21st regular meeting. Item 8 will be unfinished business, and I will call on each one of you as we go through the list for any unfinished business that you may have. Item 9 is new business. 9A would be matters that were referred from last night's work session and today's pre-council meeting. Item 9B will be a vote on the special exception application for 207 Graylock Drive. Item 9C are ordinances for the first reading and introduction. 9C1 is the first reading of an ordinance for the annexation of property to the city of Perry. The property is located on Airport Road. There will be no action required since this is the first reading of that ordinance. 9C2 is the first reading of an ordinance to rezone 19.7 acres from RAG County to RTH Townhouse Residential. Again, the property is located on Airport Road and no action will be required by the council. 9D are resolutions for consideration and adoption. 9D1 is a resolution accepting ownership and maintenance of rights-of-ways of certain infrastructure in Planters Ridge subdivision phases 5 and 6. Ms. Newby?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, the title explains exactly what it is, but this is a standard resolution to accept certain portions of infrastructure and rights-of-way in phases 5 and 6 of Planters Ridge subdivision. That includes water, sanitary sewer, fire hydrants, and stormwater infrastructure, and the portions of Old Hollow Way, Anise Avenue, Hickory Ridge Trail, Cloverdale Drive, and Fern Creek Way.
Okay. Questions, council members? Thank you, Ms. Newby. 9D2 is a resolution authorizing participation in amicus brief on Chan versus the City of Milton on remand before the Georgia Court of Appeals, or if warranted, the Georgia Supreme Court. Ms. Newby?
Thank you. Mayor and council, you may recall, I think it was maybe a year ago, that this council was asked to sign on as a participant for an amicus brief for the Chang versus the City of Milton case that was pending in the Supreme Court of Georgia, which we did in support of the city's position. The Supreme Court held recently, March of this year, that a municipality's ministerial duty over roadway upkeep and repair does not apply where the alleged unsafe condition is outside the lanes of ordinary travel. So that was a favorable ruling for the city as well as all cities in Georgia. The case was actually remanded to the Georgia Court of Appeals, where they'll consider a separate question of whether a Georgia municipality may nevertheless be subject to liability under a so-called nuisance theory for personal injury claims. The resolution kind of outlines the position of the City of Milton and what we would be participating in as supporting, which is that any asserted waiver of sovereign immunity for nuisance claim should arise from express constitutional or statutory waiver, and that's not the case. That's actually something that's come about from case law. And so this amicus brief basically puts forward that a nuisance theory that permits personal injury claims against cities but not counties creates an uneven exposure of liability that's not supported by clear constitutional or statutory authority. And so with this resolution, the city would again participate in, support, and join the amicus brief to be filed in the case that's now on remand at the Georgia Court of Appeals and authorizes the city's name to be included as an amicus participant. That's all basically to say that we're supporting the position that any purported waiver of a city's sovereign immunity for nuisance claims seeking recovery for a personal injury is a judicially created doctrine rather than an express waiver that's grounded in the Constitution and the Act of a General Assembly.
Questions, council members?
Yes, sir. Ms. Newby, could you, I appreciate you reading that. Could you summarize that for a layperson that doesn't have a law background? Please.
Sure. So sovereign immunity is a defense for a municipality. Sovereign immunity is not able to be waived unless it's expressly stated in the Constitution or expressly stated elsewhere in state law. There have been a series of cases that have been determined. Again, these are going to be Supreme Court cases. There's some from 2014, 1978, and 2021, in which the court had found that a city or a municipality could waive sovereign immunity in a personal injury case based on a nuisance theory. So basically the courts, by making those decisions, judicially created a waiver of sovereign immunity that otherwise does not exist in the Constitution or in state law. And so the brief that's going to be presented in favor of the City of Milton, really in favor of all cities, is basically being filed with the Georgia Court of Appeals, where this is on remand, to say, while you're looking at this issue, you need to go back and look at the fact that this type of waiver on a personal injury nuisance case was created judicially, and it really shouldn't have been. That really only the waiver of sovereign immunity should either be from the Constitution or should be provided in state law.
Other questions? Thank you, Ms. Newby.
Yes, sir.
9D3 is a resolution appointing Lynn McDonald as the Finance Director. Ms. Birdshaw?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, we will present the resolution to appoint Ms. McDonald as the Finance Director for your approval tonight.
Okay. Questions, council members? Item 9D4 is a resolution appointing Ms. Holly Wharton as the Interim Director of Community Development. Ms. Birdshaw?
We are asking your approval to appoint Ms. Holly Wharton as the interim director in lieu of the resignation from Mr. Duffy. She will remain Director of Economic Development and serve in dual roles as the interim Director of Community Development.
Questions, council? Thank you, Ms. Birdshaw. 9D5 is a resolution appointing Dwayne Shoemate as interim Director of Public Works uno pro tuna, I guess is correct, Mrs. Newby, but on April the 7th, 2026.
Thank you, Mayor. I did not, Brooke pronounced it last week and I chose not to, so thank you for doing that.
I'm going to make a attempt at it. That's what I get paid for. So,
On April 7th, we appointed Mr. Shoemate as our interim director. We did not process the resolution, so we're asking you, we'll bring the resolution for your approval.
okay, thank you. Mrs. Newby?
It's nunc pro tunc, which means now for then.
Pro-tunc. Okay,
Yes, sir.
I will try to do better next time.
Now for then.
Thank you.
Because y'all actually approved it by vote, but the resolution wasn't prepared and executed, so this is really just kind of a housekeeping matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Birdshaw. Item 9E is update list of roadways. Chief Everidge?
Yes, sir, Mayor and Council, the end of the year, we did a update for our speed detection device license for the city. As you well aware, the city is growing with new roads, so periodically we will have to come in and update to add those streets to our radar license. So this is just a housekeeping deal to add some recent roads over the last 6 or 7 months.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Item 10 through 16 are standard items. Council members, do you have any questions about our agenda this evening? Thank you. No questions. I'll return your attention to our pre-council agenda. Item 5 are council member items. Dr. Faust? Mr. Jones? Dr. Albritton?
Councilman Jones mentioned something about Perimeter Road about a month ago, Mr. Shoemate. There's a bad spot right there by Gatwick Village. I just was curious if there was an update. I know it may not be fixed right away.
It is on schedule for tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
Mr. Moody?
No, sir.
Mr. Peterson? No, sir. Reverend King? Okay. Mr. Smith, do you have anything for us? I understand you have one item or so.
Yes, sir, I do. Dr. Faust, you wouldn't mind passing those down? Mayor and Council, we have been approached with what I think is a very favorable opportunity from our friends at Houston County. They began speaking with us last week and provided to us a memo that you have there being handed out relative to a project where they would actually pave for us at their cost a portion of Langston Road that is the city's. Langston Road is a bit of a hodgepodge as it relates to ownership and maintenance responsibilities. The portion of the road they would like to pave is essentially starting where our new regional pond is, Magnolia Point Park right there, and goes down past the entrance of Lake Forest. It's approximately 2,000 linear feet. The county owns before that and after that, and they want to pave that whole portion of Langston Road, and I guess they just thought it would be best if they went ahead and paved our section as well. This is a very good project for us right now, and we were talking about this before the meeting. You could basically plan on about $50 per linear foot of paving for a road like this. So they're essentially providing to us a $90,000 to $100,000 project. Again, just very nice of them to offer. An administration's recommendation would be to allow them to do so.
Questions, council members? Well, we will add this as supplemental to carry forward from this for a vote at during our meeting.
As well as portions of Sandifer Road, so
Yeah, yes, sir. Correct.
absolutely.
There's a striping on Sandifer Road. We're not sure what portion of Sandifer Road, however.
Thank you.
Mr. Worthington, do you have anything for us?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Ms. Newby, do you have anything for us? Okay. We don't have a requirement for an executive session, so is there anything that needs to come before us this evening before we adjourn our pre-council? At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn pre-council to reconvene at 6 o'clock. Motion is second. All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. We do stand adjourned until 6 o'clock.